This is the second part of the lesson on politics in the populist era. If you have not already seen the first part, please consider viewing it before proceeding. Another policy position of the populists was public ownership of railroads. You will recall that farmers saw the railroads as major players in creating their hardships. Imagine the government stepping in to purchase, or even take, the railroads from their private owners and then taking over their operation. Essentially, this approach means that since the government represents the collective will of the people, the railroads would effectively be owned by the public at large. Instead of being in the hands of private corporations, they would belong to everyone. This proposal essentially eliminates private ownership and advocates collective ownership, which is socialism. For now, we will assume that socialism and communism are synonymous in the way they consider property ownership. The notion of socialism and communism doesn't resonate in the United States. The foundational belief is that these ideologies, which promote the communal sharing of resources, are inherently un-American. The appeal of such systems historically emerged as a response to extreme poverty and inequality, suggesting that sharing resources seems most attractive to those who have nothing. So, if industrialization leads to so much poverty, why do Americans reject socialism? This resistance can be attributed to the pervasive belief in the American dream, the notion that anyone can achieve wealth and success through hard work and determination. A Canadian scholar once remarked that socialism never took root in America because the poor see themselves not as an exploited proletariat, but as temporarily embarrassed millionaires. This mindset suggests that despite current circumstances, one's fortunes can improve, making the idea of sharing wealth and resources through socialism less appealing. Americans' attachment to personal property and the aspiration for more play a crucial role in their skepticism towards socialism. The desire to own and accumulate material possessions is a strong deterrent against the adoption of communal ownership models. The debate around public ownership of railroads touches on broader themes of property rights, individualism, and societal values. While the idea of public ownership aims to democratize access and control, the prevailing cultural and economic ethos in the United States poses significant obstacles to such a shift. This context helps explain why public ownership of railroads or any other private industry has never been seriously considered in the United States, even though, as we shall see later in the course, other liberal countries like Britain and France adopted it. The Populist Party's advocacy for a graduated income tax can be understood as an effort to address economic inequality by ensuring that those who earn more contribute a higher percentage of their income in taxes than those who earn less. This concept is rooted in the principle that individuals with higher incomes have a greater capacity to pay, and should thus bear a larger share of the tax burden. In essence, a graduated income tax operates on a sliding scale, where the tax rate increases with income. This means individuals like Jeff Bezos, who earn significantly more, are taxed at a higher rate compared to someone like an adjunct professor, who might earn less and therefore pay a lower rate, or possibly no tax at all if their income falls below a certain threshold. This approach aims to balance the fiscal responsibilities among citizens, ensuring a fairer distribution of the tax burden. The rationale behind this system is not only about fairness, but also about the practical application of tax revenues. Governments levy taxes to fund public services and infrastructure that benefit society as a whole. Therefore, under a graduated income tax system, even those who may not pay taxes directly benefit from the public goods and services financed by the taxes paid by higher earners. However, the concept of a graduated income tax is not without its critics. Some argue that it could disincentivize hard work and innovation, as individuals might perceive a diminishing return on their efforts due to higher tax rates on increased earnings. Yet, many, including proponents of capitalism, acknowledge that paying taxes is a necessary part of participating in a functioning society where one benefits from public services and infrastructure, regardless of their direct contribution through taxes. The advocacy for a graduated income tax by the Populist Party and its eventual implementation in the United States reflects an attempt to navigate the complex interplay of fairness, economic incentive, and the funding of public services. It embodies a compromise between the need for revenue to support common goods and the desire to encourage personal achievement and prosperity. As in many things, Americans in general are not well educated in economic theories, making it easy for demagogues to misconstrue the nature of our economy and civil life and mislabel government policies. Many Americans tend to view economic structures in binary terms. On one side, there's the free market, laissez-faire approach, and on the other, socialism, where resources and wealth are shared. However, this dichotomy oversimplifies the reality. In truth, the concept of a completely free market is somewhat of an illusion. Government intervention in the economy is a given. One primary method of this intervention is through taxation. Regardless of whether one pays income tax or not, taxes are a universal experience, whether it's sales tax at a convenience store or other levies. This universal contribution to the nation's coffers introduces a layer of redistribution that could be misconstrued as socialist. Consider the example of tax-funded public services, such as roads or the military. These services benefit all citizens, irrespective of their individual tax contributions. This scenario, where one benefits from services they haven't directly paid for, resembles income redistribution, a concept often associated with socialism. Yet, labeling such fundamental aspects of governmental function as socialism oversimplifies and misrepresents the nature of our economic system. The debate within American politics isn't a binary choice between capitalism and socialism, or between total government control and none at all. Rather, it revolves around the degree of government intervention. The political discourse often centers on how much control is appropriate, with varying opinions across the political spectrum. Furthermore, when examining programs like welfare, criticisms often arise that highlight a perceived unfairness in redistributing wealth to support individuals. However, it's crucial to note that tax policies also benefit corporations and industries, sometimes with significant financial advantages, despite their minimal contributions in taxes. This situation could also be framed as a form of socialism, according to the broader accusations of the term's misuse. Therefore, the assertion that taxation equates to socialism is a misconception. It overlooks the nuanced and complex nature of government's role in a capitalist economy, reducing a broad spectrum of policies and ideologies to a simplistic and inaccurate binary. These observations underscore the importance of a more informed and nuanced conversation about economic systems, government intervention, and the real meaning of socialism within the context of American politics. Please proceed to answer the questions in the assignment on Canvas. If you have any questions, you can post them in the open forum discussion or contact the professor using Canvas email.